Welcome. If you would like to introduce yourself, let us know who you represent, and then go ahead with your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Regina Huerter, and I'm representing the City and County of Denver. I run the Crime Prevention and Control Commission for the city. We do not believe this bill helps the homeless, and in Denver we have chosen to focus on innovative ways to provide those experienced homelessness with the assistance they need. For us, the work is about coordination and connection to services. We have devoted many resources from many different agencies to try to meet the needs of the persons who are experiencing homelessness. Denver's Road Home is the primary agency that is doing that. They have leveraged over $68 million in the last 9 years, which has gone to over almost 2,941 units of housing, 8,000 employment services, and 1,215 services for families and seniors which have been mentored. The dollars that they've leveraged, and they have an annual budget of $6.5 million, go to shelters, case management, and outreach services. They have 18 outreach workers that are working the streets, especially in the downtown corridor, and they have 2 behavioral health navigators who are also working alongside of them. And annually, they provide something that's called Homeless Connect, which is an event that takes place where people can get everything from a haircut to getting a ticket taken care of. We also oversee the Homeless Connect, the Homeless Court, in which persons can get their tickets taken care of. But just as the spectrum and the causes and effects of persons becoming or experiencing homelessness is diverse, so is our response. We've created mental health assistance and substance abuse assistance in the Denver Public Library with a full-time person to help address persons' needs. We have funded the Lawrence Center, Lawrence Street Community Center, which provides showers, bathrooms, water fountains, dining area, and a safe space for people to be during day hours. We're creating a $10 million affordable housing fund and options for housing services and access. We formed the Office of Behavioral Health Strategies, which is helping to coordinate the services around mental health and substance abuse services. Within the police department, we have a total of 14 officers that are really devoted and dedicated to just this work. 4 of those are around homeless-specific officers, and then 10 are doing impact work. And all of them provide services to persons before they can ever issue a ticket. And then for those folks who are actually issued a ticket, we have all different kinds of services, in particular something called Recovery Court, which is specifically addressing the top utilizers of the criminal justice and human services hospital systems and giving them access to housing and to mental health and substance abuse treatment, and reducing in half right now any kind of new arrests or jail bed stays. In addition to that, we're putting in co-responders both in the police department and in the sheriff's department to help persons get access to the appropriate kinds of services around mental health and substance abuse in lieu of going to court, and also creating a solution center where persons can go instead of being issued a citation at all.
Thank you, Ms. Huerter. Questions,
Good question, and thank you for providing that list of services. I know that many people who are homeless have no idea about some of those services, but the question is not so much the services. The question is here, how does criminalizing homeless folks helping them out whatsoever?
Ms. Huerter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Salazar, so I think there's a bit of a semantics in there about criminalizing homelessness, because I do not believe that we are criminalizing homelessness. When people receive a ticket, it is because they have been offered all these other services. For example, if I may, the recovery court that we provide services to are for folks who are refusing to receive any kind of services.
All the testimony before speaks
have refused to engage in those services.
People who've been ticketed before they've been offered services. Although policy publicly stated to the committee says that they do.
Getting housing, medication, case management, substance abuse treatment, they're getting all of those services through that system.
Representative Salazar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. An arrest is criminalization. And my community was at being Latino and having laws passed against us back in the 1960s. That's criminalization. So anytime there's officers involved, resulting in arrest, leading to jail, leading to court fines, that's criminalization. So I'm a little confused by that. And the question is why is the City and County of Denver against this bill?
Ms. Huerter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Salazar, again, our ordinance 3886 requires that police have to give services first, offer services, pull together, working with a social worker or a street outreach to help people get to the right services. If they refuse, so when you have, it's about that balance. So when a person refuses to, if somebody is intoxicated and they're in front of a business and they are refusing to allow passage for other folks to get into that business, we have to take some kind of action. Our first action is always try to help people get access to these services. If they refuse to do that, just like any other person, regardless of their state of housing, we have to manage that. And so it's a very absolute last resort to ever arrest anybody, either through a custodial or through a ticket process.
Representative Thurlow?
Sorry, thank you. $1,000 in compensatory damages. How would you think about an amendment to the bill that would say, well, if a homeless person's rights are violated by a city and there's an award by the court of attorney's fees and compensatory damages, that those fees, those attorney's fees, rather than enriching attorneys, would then go into a fund of the city to provide more beds and more services for the homeless so that that money went back to the homeless population?
Ms. Huerter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Representative, again, so what you're suggesting is that there would be a citation or something, but that there would be a way to try to get those services back? I'm sorry, if you could help me again.
Representative Willett?
Thank you. No, that if there was a citation and the city wronged a homeless person and there was a civil action brought for money damages and attorney's fees, if those were awarded by the court, rather than enriching attorneys, not too many of whom are homeless, that money would go back to the city into a fund that could only be used for more services and beds for the homeless.
Ms. Huerter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I am not in a place where I can obviously speak for the city on that particular question, and your question specific to your kind of thinking about that amendment. And so I don't know that I can give you a direct answer on that. What I can would say is that we in the city and county of Denver is unique in the state of Colorado because we are a home rule city and county. So we have two separate court systems, and within our court system at the county level, which is the court system that oversees the city ordinances, so non-felonies but ordinance violations, that we work very hard and in fact support that there's a defense attorney as well as a prosecuting attorney who's helping to represent folks. So whether or not dollars went back to help to fund different kinds of initiatives, I cannot speak to that. I can tell you that we work very hard to make sure that people have representation, as all persons should when they are facing any kind of court issues.
You know, I'm sure that everyone sitting here has some ideas about how we could make things better. We're not going to be able to delve into all of those ideas today. Seeing the hour, the chair is going to lay over this bill, and we will announce another date in the near future. And anyone who has signed up to speak will be allowed to speak. We apologize. Things get messy and inconvenient down here because we have 100